Hello and welcome back to this part 2 of the Machete game art tutorial. Today we're going to be baking the maps and beginning the texturing process. So let's get started. All we're going to do is make sure I unwrapped it, which I did not yet. So we have to unwrap our blade first. So to do that, what we're going to do is split off the front the handle from the blade. So let's see if I can get this ring right here. Right, and we're gonna just mark that as a seam. And actually, I'm gonna move that vertex. Oh, it looks like we have a hole. I don't know where that got in. Okay, I think we can fix that. Move this back. Oh dear, this is kind of an issue. Okay, wait. Ah, here it is. If we cut right here to there, and then merge that down. There we go. Okay, so make sure you get all the edges there. Okay. So now we have the blade split off. And we're going to actually cut the blade in half from here. So we're going to cut down the sharp part of the blade, and then we're going to cut off this half right here. And if you don't understand what I'm doing, I would recommend watching the UV unwrapping tutorial I made. It contains a lot of information on the theory and reasons behind UV unwrapping and how to do it. So ignoring the handle, just the faces on the handle. Let's unwrap. Oops, split it. Unwrap. Okay, so there our blade is unwrapped, and we don't have any stretch. So now for the handle, and if we unwrap right now, it'll be this mess of gobbledygook, and it's all stretching. That's because we didn't add any lines to cut it open yet, so let's do that. So what I'm going to be doing here is slicing along there, and we're going to just cut the handle in half, and I think we can get away with the majority of the map by doing this. So that's just that. Okay. And mark those, and then I forgot this when I was modeling it the first time, and we spent an hour trying to figure out why it was holding together still. Turns out you have to get actually we're going to just delete that edge loop because it's unnecessary, but we're going to still mark that seam because the handle needs to split open in the little hole bit there. So unwrap, and there we go. We have this bit right here, which probably won't be containing a texture on it. It's the only stretching part. But if you really are worried about that, you can press Ctrl V. Go like that. Or you could even add an edge split down the line right there, and that'll make it work. Or you could even separate it if you wanted, but I don't really care because it's a minute detail. So now, don't worry, you don't actually have to unwrap the handle or blade, which is really cool when we bake the normal maps. So just leave the handle and blade how they are, the high poly versions at least. Alright, let's go back to our default view and grab these objects here, the high poly. And what we're going to do is we're going to shift select our low poly blade. So I've selected the high poly blade, and I need my low poly blade, which is right there. So now it's the active object. What we're going to do is we're going to bake. Let me actually just turn my threads out quickly before I bake. And we don't use cycles because it can't bake yet. we're going to be using Blender Render. We're going to bake the normal maps onto the normals of the high poly object onto the low poly object. And, okay, don't click bake immediately. Select selection to active, and we're going to have to set the bias up a little bit because the low poly doesn't completely encompass the high poly because the little spiky bits are coming out still. So the bias we can set as high as we want, but 0.1 is plenty. And now all we have to do, actually I'm going to just make sure I'm using my UV map optimally. Just quickly average them and pack them. Create the image. We're going to make it double the width. And there we go. Okay, so we're good. And then we're going to just quickly select everything and select the low poly blade. Alright, then we're going to hit bake. And there it goes. That was it. Pretty quick. This is our normal map. I'm not sure if this is messed up. We're going to have to see. It looks okay, but these colors are worrying me. I'm not sure if that's going to cause an issue. Let's just quickly check. We'll use GLSL shading. Blender game. And we'll move this to layer 2. Wait, no, move it to layer 1. Just view layer 1. And we'll use GLSL, which will allow us to use normal maps in the viewport. And we're going to just give it a material. We'll name that blade. Give it a texture, and we'll use our normal map. So set this to UV, normal map, and I think that's all. Okay. Other than we don't want that, we want that. Okay. Yes, that is causing an issue indeed. Looks like our normals. Which direction are our normals pointing? So let's go into edit mode and view the face normals. Everything looks good. We'll just quickly press Control N. Okay, that's good. Which direction are normals facing over here? Oh wait, we need to apply the mirror modifier for one thing, because it doesn't bake very well on modified surfaces. Let's make sure we do it with all of them. Okay. So yes, got that. Let's add a lamp and quickly view our normals. And it does indeed look like our normals are screwed up. So let's recalculate. Okay. And I think the normals on these little spikes are good. Yep. That's fine. Recalculate those quickly. Alright. And, okay, we're good. So let's just rebake this quickly. Again, select the low poly blade and hit bake. There we go. And now if we go to UV editing, okay, now our normals all look good. We might need to smooth that thing out later because it looks kind of funny. I don't know. That might not be with the high poly blade. That might be just the low poly. So let's again view the texture, the normals, and this is actually the low poly object right now, which is cool because it looks like it's high poly. It looks like it has all these little blade these little grippy things here, but actually, when we view it from the side, there is no displacement. It's all just adjustments. It's just a light faking. It's just pointing the light in a different direction, which is really cool. That's what normal maps do. So there we go. We have our normal map baked. And let's see if we need. Oops. Let's see. Let's bake our ambient occlusion also. So select the high poly, select the low poly, and hit. Oh wait, first of all, before you do anything else, save your normal map. So this will be a major issue later, and it would have actually overwritten, the ambient occlusion would have overwritten the normal map here if I had clicked bake. So let's save the image, and we'll create a new Machete texture folder, and we'll name this Machete underscore norm for normals, and we'll save that as a ping. Save. There we go. Okay. Let's quickly bake the AO. I'm gonna just remove that lamp. We're gonna go to Blender Render, and I'm going to enable ambient occlusion. And if we just render this quickly, okay, good. We look at it. So select our high poly knife, select the low poly, and where is ambient occlusion? Good. Hit bake. And this will help later when we're adding shadows and stuff to the diffuse map, because that way we won't actually. That didn't work. Try that again. Bake. Okay, that goes. I think I forgot to put them both on view both layers at the same time. That caused the issue. And it just finished baking, so let's view that. And there we go. We have our AO map. Rather simple, mainly just close edges. But again, it will save time later on. We won't have to spend as much time on the handle, hopefully. Yeah, so there we go. That's our map. Okay, that is an issue. Let's turn off AO. I think that is causing the issue now. Oh wait, it's trying to use the AO map as a normal map, I think. Image. Okay, it doesn't matter anymore. We checked our normal map, so let's just save off our AO map. Save as Machete AO.ping. And we're gonna just do first round of texturing on it. So let me close Blender. And yeah, so where is it? Open. We're just gonna be using it as a base, because I don't really feel like exporting the wireframe when we have the AO already. So let me just go to Documents, Blend Files, Tutorials, whoops, Tutorials, Machete Texture, AO, open. So create a layer. Whoops, where did that go? New layer, okay. Transparent, yep. Alright, so for our machete, mainly what we're going to be doing is just adding scratches and stuff. Let me just give it our flat base color. going to be a gray. And we're going to put this underneath and set this to multiply. Multiply, there it is. Okay. There you go. That's going to be our base. So now, let's create another layer, and we're going to just start adding some scratches in. It's easier to do with a tablet, which I currently don't have with me. I think it's hidden somewhere. But I'll just be doing it with a mouse for now. Where is it? So we're going to be using the chalk brush, or something similar, charcoal fine. And we're going to setting the size small, about 5 or 6, and we're going to be enabling jitter and a lot of it. Okay, and we'll set the color to white. Okay, and let's set the size a little bit smaller, probably about 4 pixels is better. Alright, and when we view this from a distance, yeah, okay. Maybe turn the opacity down a little bit. Yeah, that's good. Let's just quickly see if they've got any good dynamics for this. Wait, fade in and fade out. Yeah, that's it. That's it, okay. So what you're going to be doing, you just push my other mouse out of the way. Okay. What we're going to be doing is doing wide sweeping motions to create these cuts or cut marks on the blade. We're just going to draw a few in, and I might time lapse this because it's a little bit monotonous. And it's mainly the same thing over and over again. But it looks good at the end, it just takes some time. So if you think about it, a machete blade would mainly be used to slice things. I mean, they're originally made to cut through jungle, I think. So we won't have too much of a cut mark at the top, too many like wearing lines, but we definitely will have a bunch around here, all the way to about here-ish. After that, it's only going to be a few marks. The top you don't really have to worry about too much. We're going to be obviously we're going to add scratches all over this thing, but don't go overkill and just add scratches everywhere because it's not necessary. So let's just continue making our scribble marks here. Cut, cut. And I actually saw the tip for using the chalk brush on I think it was Polycount. Yeah, that's right. It's a good site. I like that site a lot. I go there sometimes for inspiration and stuff. I really stink at texturing though, so sorry about that. Yeah, that's pretty good there. So let's set the size a little bit lower, and we're gonna do some fine marks now. There. And let's do some little scratches in here. Add a little bit more jitter. And what I'm going to be doing is going over this a little bit later with an eraser because I think it's a little bit too much right now. Probably is a little bit too much, but that's okay. You can always erase, especially if you're using layers. Use layers a lot because it's non-destructive. That's the term they use for it. Non-destructive workflow is one where you can easily change layers without destroying the image, change sections of the image without having issues throughout the rest of the image. And some people go really crazy. Like they won't ever erase. They'll always use masks. There are some people who will use, I think they call them color masks or something. I don't even know what half the stuff is because I don't really use image editors that much. I mainly do 3D art and then we'll texture over top afterwards. I'll just throw in an image texture. That's generally where it stops. I don't really do too much texturing, especially custom textures or hand painted. Okay, so let's just start adding some down here. What we'll do is we'll make some kind of larger ones, probably around 6, but we won't have them as opaque as the other ones. So there'll be just some, like, I don't know, probably more like dirt or something than the other ones. And try not to get these curves because they look fake. Try to just go straight across and back. And we'll add a few like that. Alright. And finally, let's just add a few scratches on the top. So we'll say 3, set the opacity higher, and go around adding some scratches up here. And we'll quickly erase some of these. That's not the eraser tool. It'll do though. Ha. No, that looks too sudden. Alright. Here we go. Ah, that's cool, the way it varies. Let's do that with some of these guys too. Oops. Okay. Tell me if you like the time-lapse parts better, because I've done that with some of my tutorials. I'm not really sure if you guys like it. If you do, I'll do it more often in parts like this, or if you want me explaining some of my thought process as I go along, I can do that too. It'll just be a little bit longer. Most of my tutorials are around 30 minutes, and about 50% of the people last halfway, so I'm not sure what the deal is with that. If you don't like the speed I'm going at, I try to go pretty fast because I like lots of information packed in small videos, but I can't speed up certain things like this. Alright, I think that's good. What else should we add here? Let's see, what else would be on a machete? Maybe some blood splatters if you want to do that. I don't really though. I'm trying to keep this kind of, I don't know, like it's just a used blade in the jungle before any fighting. Okay, so let's just we can do the same for the second blade. I'm not gonna do that right now. I'll do that afterwards. I won't time lapse it even. I'll just do this after the video because it's the exact same process as the blade above. Alright, so let's work on the handle. What we're gonna do now is just add a little bit of, I don't know, like rub marks probably, or just sweat marks or something right here, because, oops, that is not what I wanted. I want a new layer, for one thing, and I want to turn off jitter, and set the color to black. Alright. This is going to be like a sweat mark, or just like a use mark, I guess, because the user would be holding it here, so it would be grabbed and held in this area. And let me erase this kind of like that. And we'll go in and smudge a few things too. I've heard a lot of hate against the smudge tool recently. I mean, it's slow, I guess, is my biggest issue with it. I don't use it too much, but I really don't see the problem with it, other than the fact that it's slow, that it could use some optimization. Okay, and let's see. Since this part is made of rubber, I'm not really sure what else to add to it. I might as well just brighten some areas. Just use white and turn the opacity down. Don't know. Just add a few marks somewhere. Set the size down. And we'll erase some of this afterwards quickly. Okay. That's, again, same thing on the other side. Actually, let's just add like a brand or something. What should we call it? Spastic Kangaroo. Spastic Kangaroo blades. Oops. Because it's ninja. Alright, let's set this to Tigre. Alright, and we'll rotate this sideways by 90 degrees. Now let's rotate 180 now, because that's the wrong direction. Okay. Okay, whoops. Let's move this text to here. Drop the opacity a little bit. And okay. Well, let's just add an icon here. I'll use, where is that? Yeah. There you have an ugly ninja flying star that I did by hand. Hurrah. So I add another layer. So we can fill this part in. What was the opacity for this guy? 52. So 52 should do the trick. Okay, and deselect everything. And delete that. Okay. Enough playing. Let's just position that right. I don't like working with large layers, so I auto crop most of them. I seem to have selected the wrong bit. Okay, there we go. Okay. Rotate it, and there we go. I think the text is a tad bit too big. It's standing out. even though self-branding is awesome. Okay, scale it down. Scale it down. I've done a lot more game art projects recently. Which one is that? Okay, I don't know what's on this layer. I guess nothing. Okay, I've been making like an anti-tank cannon thing, which I've been working on. Posted about it on Blender IRC, but I haven't been texturing it because I'm trying to learn texturing more. I'm more of a modeling / physics person. I do like rendering a lot too. Alright, I think that's pretty good. Let's save this as an XCF first so we can edit the layers later. Save it. And then we'll finally export it as the diffuse. Export. There we go. Okay, so close that. Close it, and then open Blender. And what we're gonna do is just check this diffuse pass, see how it looks, and then call it a day. When we get back, I'll do the specular map, and then I think we'll throw it into Unity. So let's just go to our Machete, image, open Machete diffuse, use Machete diffuse, and then go to our default. That is wrong. We're using the diffuse. And it looks... No, we don't want to use alpha because there is no alpha in this image. Why is it so dark? Oh, do we have any lights? Let's turn that into a sun. What? Our normals all screwed. I think they are. It looks like our thing mapped on correctly. Let's just texture. Yeah, there. We'll just texture solid. We won't be able to view our normal map, but that's fine. It looks like our texture got on, and this is the handle. So yeah, looks like things were successful. There is my branding. Hurrah. And yep, that's all I have for you guys this time. Hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Hope you learned something. If you did, hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to see more of my stuff. I do Blender tutorials and game art tutorials, in case you haven't looked through the channel already. That's all I have. Thanks for watching. We'll see you all next time.